Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the frontline changes report for the past 2 days. 2 days. So the just to show you guys a bit, 2 days ago it was 30.14 square kilometers, and we were wondering if it will be a 30 square kilometers norm per day, but it looks like there's a chance, but I do not know. It looks like, just a rough look. It seems to be the case. There's a lot of crazy frontline changes in the past 2 days, so we're going to jump straight into it. As usual, we're going to do a clockwise direction. The first one is over in the Volchansk, in the Kharkiv front. These are Russian claims. The Russian mapping Ryba, Russian OSIN, have claimed that the Russian forces have captured the entire northern half of Volchansk. The entire northern bank of Volchansk is all under Russian control, based on their mapping. This is the first news in a long time about the Battle of Volchansk. If this is true, then that would make sense that there was all these battles at Volchansk that we report daily, but we have no idea what the hell is happening. And on the other side of the river, because this is the river, where the front line now looks along with. The other side of the river, on the western part of Volchansk, based on the Russian source as well, the Russians have expanded the zone of control within the western part of Volchansk. They have expanded the zone of control, and this also includes the outskirts in the forest. The forest allegedly has also, the western forest has also has huge chunk taken by the Russian forces, and this includes the Russian forces entering into Volchansk in a new sector on the most western part. This sector here, there's another attack coming here. So, which means there is a two-pronged attack currently happening on the western part of Volchansk. So this is a very, very huge frontline change in this sector here. So within the western part of the city here, the advance is probably around 600 meters. So that's the advance inside of Volchansk. There is no indication of the Russians crossing the Volcha River on this side of the city. So the eastern or the central side of the city, there's no indication of Russian crossing yet. So we shall take a look. We shall wait and see how this continues to play out. This is, of course, again, Russian claim. This is not corroborated by the Ukrainian side. So after this frontline change, the next frontline change is over in the Kupyansk front. There's a lot of frontline change in Kupyansk, as you can see already on the map. So over in the north of Volchansk, of Kupyansk, the Ukrainian mapping Deep State UA has acknowledged that the Russian forces have captured everything west of the Oskil River over this sector, with the conquest of Hulyaipole. So Hulyaipole is now entirely taken by the Russian forces. South of this position, inside the battle of Kupyansk, so this is western part, this is the eastern part. Kupyansk is like it's like the city in Lord of the Ring. I think it's Osiliev or something, where the city is cut into two, is the east and the west bank. And on the west bank, from the river to the sea is, it's all Russia or Ukraine. Yeah, just joking. So anyway, is this the Ukrainian mapping continue to assert that this site is all taken by the Russian forces, and this is a very interesting one because not too long ago we have just add in the Ukrainian claims, and now they immediately disclaimed. On this western part of this part, Russian forces expanded the zone of control as they captured more grounds in the low-rise area. The Ukrainian forces seems to have some kind of a strong position in the high-rise zone, so maybe this is a flanking operation. So the advance over on the western part is around 300 meters to 400 meters. So the one on the eastern side is not really important anymore, because this was already claimed, already was geolocated to claim to show this Russian capture. So I just put in the Ukrainian claims after a long time. There is no news, and immediately there is news. Over in the eastern flank of the Kupyansk front, the entire front line has collapsed. This area here is the stronghold. It's a very, very strong line of defense. Even my Ukrainian source fought there as well before, and he told told me about how the situation was, long time ago, and but the entire front line here has collapsed. This includes, I believe, a geolocation. Yes, there was a geolocation of Russian forces in this sector here, and based on the geography, and it looks to me like the area here has entirely collapsed, because this was the previous frontline change, only this sector here, but now the entire area here has been taken. So Ukrainian mapping have expanded the zone until here. The Ukrainians map it in this way, but because of the geolocation and the geography here, we have mapped it much more bigger. So all of this area is captured by the Russian forces right now, which means that they have overrun, bypassed the Ukrainian strong position at Stepovo Novoselivka, and the Russian mapping have claimed that this area here is also under Russian control, slightly further than the one that I've mapped, and Russian forces basically has just went ahead and go and ignore Stepovo Novoselivka, and they just go straight for Kupiansk. And I have warned that this kind of collapse is possible if the bridges is shut down at Kupiansk city, and it looks like my theory is probably coming true, that the Ukrainians may have actually lost control of the bridge, and this is why the entire front line here is collapsing entirely. The advance here at the maximum is around 3.7 kilometers deep, or at least 3 kilometers deep. So this is a massive collapse of the front line, and I believe this front line collapse will continue very quickly, because there's not much defensive area right here anymore, and they will have to fight at Petropavlivka, and we shall see whether the Ukrainians even want to fight over there at all. So situation here is dire for the Ukrainian forces. After the frontline change over at Zagorivka, we go on to Lyman front. There is a frontline change over in Torske. So this one is based on the Russian mapping. So Russian mapping have claimed that the Torske has been entirely captured by the Russian forces, including some of the forests in the south. And they were talking about the fighting moving towards Yampil. The advance here in this sector is around 1.3 kilometers. So that is the frontline change in this sector. This one here we already reported previously. Frontline change at Serbianske Forestry. After the Torske frontline change, the next one we go to the Bakhmut front. And in fact, I don't even call this Bakhmut front anymore. This part is called the Konstyantynivka front. This one is based on geolocation. So Russian forces is geolocated over at this fortification here, which means the Russian forces have largely advanced and overrun the entirety of Stupovsky, almost the entirety of Stupovsky, and this is a massive advance. The Russian forces advanced around almost 2 kilometers, 1.8 kilometers on average. A massive advance in this sector here, pushing in the direction of Konstyantynivka. And the thing is, this dacha here, these districts here, these are part of Konstyantynivka as well. It looks like the Russian forces is merely just 2.3 kilometers away, and it could represent a second entry point to Konstyantynivka, because the dacha here has been invaded by the Russian forces. Looks like this is another one that the Russians may be coming through to. After Stupovsky, the next frontline change is over in Kharkiv. So is this one over here. This is also a geolocation of Russian forces. They were geolocated over here, moving in the direction of Kharkiv. So there is some slight frontline change in this sector here. They are currently around maybe 2.6 kilometers away from Kharkiv. So the advance in this sector is around 880 meters. So that is the frontline change at the Evil Rabbit front, the Pokrovsk breakout zone. After this, the next frontline change is in the south of Pokrovsk. So this is Pokrovsk city. There is a geolocation of Russian forces in the entrance of the dacha of Pokrovsk, and this, which means that the Russian forces have captured the dacha regions as well as the adjacent open grounds in this sector here south of Troyanda. I initially wanted to map it like this, but I'm thinking, okay, let's do it more conservatively, and I left Troyanda untouched because the Russians did not announce the capture of Troyanda anyway. So so that's the frontline change in this sector in the south of Pokrovsk. The advance is around 940 to 950 meters. So so you can see a lot of places is starting to break and we are now halfway, almost more than halfway through September. The Grok 4 analysis I did, similar to the one that I did with Grok 3, did say that, you know, the give to an additional month from my initial analysis. So, you know, maybe who knows, but at least from on the macro perspective from the Ukrainian government side, I don't think they look like they are panicking at all. So, you know, maybe there is no manpower problems, who knows. So over in the Komar front, so this is Komar. At the Komar front, at Sosnivka, this is actually on the 15th. I actually missed out because I missed out the arrangement of my layers. I kind of make a mistake there, so I didn't cover this in the 15th report. Russian forces actually have claimed to have captured Sosnivka. So this entire area here of Sosnivka is now under Russian control based on Russian mapping. The advance here is around 1.5 kilometers, macro expansion of the front line here, moving westward deeper into Dnipropetrovsk region. So that's Sosnivka. South of this region here, we have some kind of overlapping mapping actually. Oh my god, this is, I already changed this mapping, but no, sometimes this happens. So the mapping should look like this. So there was overlapping mapping because initially this is a Russian claim. So so let me move. So this is Novomykolaiivka, this is Novoivanivka. So Russian mapping mapped it like this, but the Ukrainian mapping earlier just hours ago have mapped that the Russian forces have captured Obratny. So this area here at Obratny, so Obratny is over here, the Russian forces have captured it based on Ukrainian mapping. However, based on Russian mapping, the front line is much further away, straightening the front line between Novomykolaiivka and Novoivanivka. So this is the advance. The total advance is around 3.6 to 3.65 kilometers. So this is pretty deep. Entire front line just collapsed entirely. This is a continuation of the continuing collapse of the front line in this sector. It's not exactly like a surprise. After this area here, the next front line change is over in the south of Novoivanivka. This sector here is there was a geolocation. So Russian forces is geolocated over here. Previously, we have confirmation of Russian forces at Novoivanivka, and there's geolocation to confirm this. Now the Russian forces have expanded the zone of control, which leads me to believe that everything here is all under Russian control. So all of this is under Russian control. This is actually already mapped as Russian capture previously, based on, I believe, based on Ukrainian mapping. So this area here is Ukrainian mapping, have already mapped that Russian forces have already taken these areas. So now this geolocation clearly show the Russians advance and expanding the zone of control here. The advance in the deepest part is 4.7 kilometers deep. So this is a very deep frontline change in this sector here. So this piece alone is 8.81 square kilometers. Very big frontline change. And happy birthday to you if your birthday today. And one last frontline change is over in the Stepnohursk in the Kamyanske sector. So this Kamyanske, over at Stepnohursk, there is geolocation of Russian forces over this area here, which means the Russian forces from Plavny has attacked into the western side of Stepnohursk, and again a new position. The advance here is around almost 2 kilometers. So this is a 2 kilometers advance by the Russian forces. The Ukrainian forces is basically struggling to hold all the front line by the look of it. Almost every single front line has major holes right now, it seems. So anyway, we shall continue to monitor the situation and see whether there is more frontline changes in the coming days. So we're gonna put the mapping behind here at Stepnohurst, and we're gonna do some calculation. And surprisingly, in 2 days of action, there is 0 Ukrainian advances. No Ukrainian counterattack has been successful, it seems. And so let's do some calculation. Will it be more than 30 square kilometers? Will it maintain 30 square kilometers per day? It's important to note this is for 2 days. So we don't, for 30 square kilometers, we need 60 square kilometers. So 4.66 plus 16.59 plus 2.67 plus 3.07 plus 2.06 plus 17.59, which is Komar front that have the biggest frontline change, plus 8.81 plus 1.71. The second biggest was actually at Kupyansk, which is a rarity, right? So 57.16 square kilometers, very close. Basically, we are in the 30 square kilometers range for a number of days now, at least 4 or 5 days now. So this is an increase in speed. So the collapse of the Ukrainian forces seems to have expanded from 10 to 20, 20 to 30. So it's becoming faster. Whether this will continue to maintain, we'll just look at it for another few days and to see whether this is becoming a pattern, like a firm pattern, a rigid norm. At this moment, this is becoming a pattern, but whether it become a norm, we shall see for another few days, maybe another week, 1 week or so. 7 days. If the next 7 days, every day is 30 square kilometers, then clearly it's becoming a norm. So 57.16 square kilometers, massive. And for Kupyansk front to take the biggest frontline change for the past 2 days is insane, because usually Kupyansk is so quiet. So anyway, and it outperformed Komar. Can you imagine that? So huge frontline changes. So we shall see how this goes. Thank you for watching. Press the like button, subscribe. And this is back on the main channel because YouTube is hemorrhaging our subscribers on the main channel, just because I did I putting the news and lesser people watch, but every day they are unsubbing people, quietly. So check your subscription, make sure you are not unsubscribed. So which is no choice, I have to put the frontline changes back on the main channel just to maintain the channel so that it doesn't die, because easily within a month we're going to drop back, maybe within a month or 2 months we'll drop back below 100,000 if I do not post anything on the channel, because the way how they have secretly unsubscribing everyone. So no choice. So frontline changes back on the main channel. Silver will be on the war channel. Subscribe on both sides. Press the like button, subscribe, share to anyone that is interested in the Ukraine war, and I'll see you guys in the next update.